Search and Rescue in Alaska, the Overland Expedition. Alaska is known for its dangerous climate, wild oceans, and rugged terrain. TV shows weekly detail the dangerous experiences of fishermen and the Coast Guard in Alaska. In Juneau alone, there are 4 different organizations that perform different kinds of search and rescue operations. Unfortunately, the services of all these organizations are needed often, as the unpredictable climate and unforgiving conditions can catch even the most prepared person by surprise. The Coast Guard has performed many extraordinary rescues, but one of the most famous occurred when 8 whaling vessels and 265 men became icebound near Point Barrow, Alaska in November 1897. One of the whaling ships is smashed by the ice. The others are trapped up to 500 miles apart from each other. Word of their predicament reaches President McKinley, who orders the Revenue Cutter Service, now known as the Coast Guard, to send an overland expedition to bring food to the men until the ice melts enough to rescue them. The Revenue Cutter Bear is sent from Seattle to Cape Vancouver. From there, Lieutenant Jarvis and Lieutenant Berthoff, with a small group of men, set out on December 15th to begin the 100-day, 1,500-mile journey to aid the stranded whalers. They are hoping to not only bring supplies, but also to acquire a herd of reindeer to provide the stranded men with enough food to survive. The trip is perilous. Only 5 days into the trip, some of the dogs are exhausted and are left behind to rest. Then, late on Christmas Day, a blizzard hits. The snow is blinding. The ice cuts the huskies' paws, and some of the men catch bad colds. They get through the blizzard, but then the snow is so deep and heavy that they must use snowshoes. The poor dogs sink into the deep snow and cannot pull the sleds. The men in their snowshoes are able to tramp down a path for the dogs with the sleds, but progress is slow. Jarvis realizes that he must go faster and trades the huskies and dog sleds for Lapland freight sleds and reindeer to pull them. Progress improves, but the reindeer are skittish and easily frightened, which makes driving them a challenge. One night, dogs spook the deer and scatter them. The men spend the next day trying to find the lost deer. On January 14th, another blizzard hits, and the deer are extremely weak. They stop at a native village to wait out the blizzard, but Jarvis is worried that the delay will prove fatal to the stranded men, so he sets out again 3 days later in the blizzard conditions and sub-zero temperatures. In spite of these conditions, the expedition continues, and the rescue party soon is able to acquire 2 herds of fresh deer, 438 altogether, to bring with them to Point Barrow. They are about halfway there with 800 miles left to go. More blizzards, temperatures of 45 degrees below zero, and mountains slow them down. But still they push on. Finally, on March 28, 1898, they arrive in Point Barrow. The men they find are starving and sick with scurvy. The food and supplies are exactly what they need. The Cutter Bear heads north as soon as it can get through the ice, 4 months later. Bear arrives on July 28, 1898, in Point Barrow to rescue the men. The longest ever overland rescue is successfully carried out in spite of many who said it was impossible. Lieutenant Berthoff and Lieutenant Jarvis become Coast Guard legends, and both now have Coast Guard cutters named in their honor. The U.S. Coast Guard commissioned the cutter Berthoff in August 2012. It is the first Legend-class ship of its kind with duties in the Arctic, including providing search and rescue capabilities in the area Lieutenant Berthoff once roamed. The Coast Guard cutter Jarvis was just decommissioned on October 4, 2012, after 40 years of service. Today, 115 years after the Overland Expedition, the Coast Guard now has ships, helicopters, jets, and icebreakers in Alaska, with the hopes of coming to the aid of all who are in distress, whether on a cruise ship, fishing vessel, or a small skiff. Search and rescue is not taken lightly here in Alaska. No one expects to need to be rescued. However, having the search and rescue capabilities available is a critical and valuable service to all those who live, work, and play in Alaska.